It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
All right, so a real interesting card will be taking place about a month from the time me shooting this, late in February out there in Japan. And it's going to feature some of Japan's brightest stars in boxing. You're going to have Takuma Inoue defending his WBO belt against Jerwin Ancajas. You're going to have Junta Nakatani making his bid to become a three-division champion as he takes on Alexander Santiago for the WBC bantamweight title, right? So lot of big names in Japanese boxing will be fighting on that day. But the fighter I'm most excited to see fight is that man right there, Kosei Tanaka, one of the most dynamic fighters coming to you guys live and direct out of Japan, and one of the most dynamic fighters in the lower weight classes. Really interesting fighter to watch, fun fighter to watch. I think looking at his career, this fight he's taking on this Mexican right here, Christian Bacasegua. We'll get to him in a second. But speaking about Tanaka, he's an interesting fighter because this is a guy that 4 years ago, he was undefeated. He tried to fight Kazuto Ioka. He was trying to become the first, or just trying to become a 4-division champion, trying to really stick his flag in the ground. And I really feel to this day, if he won that fight, he would be looked at as probably the best fighter in Japan, not named Naoya Inoue. That's just how I see it, right? But he didn't win that fight. He got knocked all over the Ota City General Gymnasium doing cartwheels, and eventually got stopped by Ioka. So it's been a big rebuilding process these last couple years. This will be his 6th fight since the Ioka fight, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I say 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, his 5th fight since the Ioka loss. So he's been rebuilding himself, kind of refining some things, tweaking his style and whatnot. And he's at a point now where he's challenging for the now vacant WBO super flyweight title in his bid to become a 4-division champion. So he arrives back at the point he was at just a little under 4 years ago when he fought Ioka. And if he wins this fight, then it's going to put him in rarefied air, because the only guys in Japanese boxing that have been 4-division champion have been Naoya Inoue and Kazuto Ioka. So he'll be in some pretty esteemed company if he's able to go ahead and accomplish this. Now, his adversary, his opponent, is Christian Bacasegua from Mexico. Now, there's not a whole lot about Christian Bacasegua. He's not a known commodity. There's not a whole lot of facts or information about him on the internet. So you kind of got to just watch him fight, and you got to, look at his box rec, come to your own surmise, come to your own conclusions, right? So the conclusion I came to, because I always say this about Mexican fighters, the Mexican fighters that are undefeated aren't the ones that worry me, that you should be worried about. It's always these kinds of fighters, the guys with the crazy records, like 22, 4-2. You can look at his record and you can tell he's been on the domestic Mexican club fighting scene. He's got some blemishes. He's been tested. He's fought maybe not the biggest names, but live bodies. So with guys like him, you just never know what you're gonna get. But you always know, no matter what level of skill they're operating at, they're gonna be tough. They're gonna keep coming, and if you're not on your P's and Q's, you will get packed the hell up, right? So guys like him are eager to prove what they can do and get to the top of boxing. And it's like just 2 months ago, we had a fight on Rafael Espinoza who fought Robeisy Ramirez. A lot of people didn't know who he was, but I know when I watched him on film, it jumped out at me that this guy was going to give Robeisy Ramirez absolute hell, and he did, and he wound up beating him, right? Now, I don't feel this way about Bacasegua against Tanaka the same way I did against Robeisy versus Espinoza, but I do think he could be tough for Tanaka, because the reality is Tanaka, he's a fighter that has been improving his defense these last couple of years, but it can get a bit leaky at times. He is hittable. And this guy, Bacasegua, he is the stereotypical Mexican fighter, which is come forward, try to back you up, get in your chest, put a lot of pressure on you, throw a high volume of punches, and overall just try to break you down. Go to that body, come up top to the head. That's how he fights. That's the way he operates. That's his MO. So the fight within the fight for a guy like Tanaka is he's going to have to try to keep this guy off him as long as possible. This guy doesn't have a big knockout record, but he throws a lot of punches, and he beats you up. Like that's what I look when I watch some of the fights of his on tape. He beats you up slowly and surely. He breaks you down. When he's 26 years old and he's already got 28 fights, so he's experienced. He's fought tough guys, And one thing about these Mexican fighters like him, you got to drag these guys through hell. You got to. And if you don't, you're in for a long night. And this is one of the many Mexico versus Japan fights we have coming up. And this will be a separate video, but Mexico versus Japan is my favorite fight, my favorite rivalry in boxing. For those of you who don't know, as far as countries go. And this next month, 2 or 3 month stretch, there's a lot of Mexico-Japan fights. You got this fight between Tanaka and Bacasegua. You got Adrian Curiel. No, not Adrian Curiel. You got Naoya Inoue versus Luis Neri. You got Alexander Santiago on the same card against Junta Nakatani. And then a couple others I can't remember right now. But this is just a lot of them coming up. So, very interesting stuff. And I'm very intrigued to see how Bacasegua goes out there and handles things because, Mexican fighters, they're the best road warriors in boxing, in my opinion. They play that role of road warrior better than any fighters in the sport. So this fight to me is going to be, obviously Tanaka is the favorite, and I checked the betting odds. Tanaka's a -380 favorite. Bacasegua's a +270. So even the betting, even the odds, even the guys that are in charge of the odds, they see something that makes this a more competitive fight. And I do think this could be, as the Brits would say, a banana skin fight for Tanaka. But I think it's a good fight for him because it's going to show how much he's graduated, has his defense improved enough and his distance control? Have these things improved enough to keep this tough Mexican off of him? Because if that's not the case, then Tanaka could be in for a long night. And I'm looking very forward to how it pans out for him. And it could be, you never know, it could be the introduction of the next Mexican champion. So we'll see how it goes. I think Tanaka should get it done. I don't think this guy punches to that degree. I don't think he has the stamina to overwhelm him from what I've seen on tape. But again, sometimes guys rise to the occasion. So we'll see how it goes. You can never underestimate the heart of a Mexican fighter. But listen, Tanaka wins this fight. You got to really start talking about him a lot more as one of the best Japanese fighters in the sport, because he doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, people talk about Kenshiro, they talk about Inoue, they talk about Junta Nakatani, but he's getting lost in the fold. And that he wins this fight, he's only the third 4-division champion in the history of Japanese boxing. So if he wins this fight, and then I'll end the video on this now, if he wins this fight, he's champion again, and that sets up, I think, the fight to make currently in the super flyweight division between him and Ioka in a rematch. Ioka's a bit longer in the tooth now. Tanaka's improved some. If he wins this fight, he's champion, and now you can go ahead and you can try to make that fight happen and make a big Japanese fight happen. I'll tell you guys this: if they make that fight happen, I'd love to go to that fight just in Japan. I'd love to be there for it. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Tanaka versus this unknown commodity, Christian Bacasegua? If anybody knows more about him than me, please let me know, because I watched some tape on him. He's a come forward, tough Mexican fighter, like the stereotypical Mexican fighter. But let me know what you guys think. He seemed to have some good timing too, especially when he gets into the mid-range area. So I think there could be some problem for Tanaka if he's not careful mid-range. But it's a fight I think he should win. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True Street Sports Empire. We're here at the Tanaka Boxing Gym in Nagoya, Japan. And for more great videos just like this one, make sure you guys click right here.